But then there's fixed costs and also the complexity of liquidity. How do you ensure you guys are profitable every year?
I mean, we see same hiking customer acquisition costs as everyone else. What we do have is also quite high customer lifetime value. We have high basket size, but we also have a very healthy retention. So we can afford to pay for our customers. I think we have a very healthy sort of economics. Then it's a question about volume. And that's what sort of 2025 was a lot about, just increasing volume. And that sort of was the profitability driver there.
Framtidens E-Handel, Sveriges ledande podcast inom retail och e-handel, sponsras denna vecka av Mimir. De flesta AI-chatbots kan svara på frågor. Mimir går ett steg längre. De löser faktiskt kundärenden åt er. Mimir är en agentisk helpdesk som arbetar över mejl, chatt och sociala medier och är integrerad direkt med era e-handels, VMS och ERP-system. Det betyder att AI inte bara svarar kunderna utan också kan hantera orderfrågor, returer, reklamationer och andra supportärenden helt automatiskt. Och effekten handlar inte bara om snabbare svar utan om enorma tidsbesparingar internt. Efter bara 2 veckor med Mimir såg Najell att över 50% av alla mejl löstes direkt på första försöket av AI. Och Viloid har kunnat växa över 50% år efter år utan att behöva bygga ut supportteamet i samma takt. Det är därför över 50 nordiska varumärken använder Mimir idag. Om ni vill skala er kundservice utan att skala kostnaderna, besök trymimir.com och boka en demo.
Hej och varmt välkommen till ett nytt avsnitt av Framtidens E-Handel. Mitt namn är Björn Pommaspänger, med mig i poddstudion. Idag har jag 2 stycken personer som senast var med i podden år 2022. Det har hänt så sjukt mycket sedan dess. De har dessutom signat the Swedish Armed Forces som kund. Varmt välkomna tillbaka till podden Jemina Pomoell och Maria Paulsson-Rönnbäck.
Tack så jättemycket, or thank you.
Right, let's do this in English. Jemina, you're from Finland?
I am.
Now you live in Sweden.
Yes.
What's the main difference between Finland and Sweden?
I think there's definitely a different kind of mentality in maybe a little bit more joyful mentality in Sweden than in Finland. People are very to the point, realistic, but otherwise I think we have a lot of similarities as well. What I like about Sweden is that there is this way of celebrating success maybe a little bit more. So I think it's nice to be building business here.
But it's also good building businesses in Helsingfors, I think. A lot of startups in AI and tech are coming from that area.
There's a lot of talent there, yeah, which I'm happy about. I'm a big Finland fan. So,
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Tell me about the first meeting of you two guys.
Jemina and I met in the startup program called Antler. This was in January 2019. We had both applied to that program because we really wanted to start a company. I had this idea about an outerwear brand for women, but I really didn't want to start it on my own. And I really wanted to find like a co-founder. I brought that idea into the program and I chit-chatted with some people during the program. It was a really special setup. Like the whole idea of the program is that they like bunched together a group of people. We were like 70 people who were supposed to find someone in that group. So it was like Married at First Sight meets Draknästet.
Do you remember the first conversation? Like how did you bond? On what level did you bond?
Yeah, so we were standing a group of people and I was like everyone was talking about building AI companies. And I was like, I want to build an outerwear brand for women. And you were like, oh, that sounds interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have an idea per se, but I definitely had areas of interest, and sort of sports and outdoors I've always dreamt of working to, Nike or Adidas or stuff like that. And then I was very interested in the consumer space. And as you said, everyone were so techy. And then you said that, I'm like, oh, that's exactly what I want to do.
Yeah. So I sent my presentation. It was like some slides trying to describe what brand I wanted to build, and I had some ideas about products. And then you came back after the weekend, and I really remember that you looked at me and you were like, I want to start this company together with you if you want that. And I felt like you were proposing. I was like, yes, yes, if you want to.
And then you cried.
Like, yeah, but it was a big moment. Like I really remember when you said that. I was like, yes, of course.
No, but it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was like, should we do this?
Yeah. And I didn't know your surname or anything.
I didn't know anything about each other. No.
And aligning on a vision or on an idea is quite easy, but aligning on values is something different and usually takes a little bit of time. Did it take time for you guys to, let's say, get into the groove of working together or understanding each other?
When it comes to values, I mean, part of the program, Antler gave you a set of questions. I go through these to figure out if you think about important things the same way about important things. The most important value that we saw in each other, that we're nice people, both of us were kind people, which was important to ourselves. But I think we got to know each other over years, to be completely honest. I think it took a long time to understand how the other person reacts in different situations and how the other person really thinks about things.
What was your hardest or toughest moment as co-founders so far? From a relationship perspective, what's been the toughest moment?
That's a good question.
I don't know if there's one moment. We've definitely had tough discussions.
Yeah.
Somehow I'm really proud of our relationship because we have how difficult it is to start a business with a complete stranger. And I think we've developed as people ourselves a lot. Really having to dig deep in yourself.
I mean, it was like one thing when we were in Antler and you had this program. It was like very set deadlines and targets and stuff. But then we came out of Antler and it's like, now what? Like, then of course we're like, okay, what are you thinking and what am I thinking and how are we going to run this business together? So we really had to like learn how to solve disagreements and how to talk with each other. And that we have really worked with over the years.
The last episode we did together was in 2022 in August, episode number 110. Now the podcast is above 350 episodes. This was a long time ago. What's happened since 2022?
A lot.
Yeah.
It feels like at that point we were still like a small company or more like a 2-team company, and we did have an office, but it was like pretty small. And I think now we feel like more like an established company we compare. So like we have a store, we have a real office, we have employees, and we have a business that's a little bit more stable.
And Jemina, tell me about the business for those who don't know what Astrid Wild is.
So Astrid Wild is an outdoor clothing brand and we serve only women. So we create outdoor clothing for female shapes, and really what sets us apart in the outdoor space is our laser focus on women, but really creating well-fitting, comfortable outdoor clothing in a wide size range. So we really saw this gap in, basically everything was first designed and made for men. And we wanted to do something where women can feel included and comfortable.
And where were you guys back in 2022, company-wise, revenue-wise, also personally-wise maybe? And where are you guys right now after 2025?
So in now I have to even think what did we make in 2022?
Doubled since then in revenue.
I think we were at 10 million revenue back then, and now we're 21. So we've doubled revenue. Thank you.
Amazing.
And we are profitable, increasing profit all the time, which is something that we have really focused on the past couple of years. We have an approach to grow organically without investors, which sort of forces us to be profitable. That is how we survive. So we have done so much changes or really developed each area of our business, sort of the customer journey, marketing approach, everything during the past couple of years. And now I think we have a good machinery that we can start growing.
And Maria, what was the first product that was a winning product?
Yeah, so when we launched 3 products, a pair of outdoor pants and a merino top, and then the Jemina wool fleece. We did not expect the Jemina wool fleece to become the hit because it was the most expensive product. And
how much is it?
So now it's 2,495.
And how much is a pair of pants, like outdoor pants?
Around 2,000 to 2,500 as well.
A jacket?
6,000, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so no, we did not expect that, but that's really been one of the best sellers by far. Like our customers are crazy. But the Jemina fleece, and some have it in 7 colors. So it's really I say like it's more than a product. It's almost like a human being. People call it like their best friend and stuff. So it's
Can you elaborate that a bit?
But yeah, so it's made out of, it's a wool mix, so it's like super soft and really warm, and it has a high color. And people say it's like a hug, so I think it's like a comfort piece. Actually, someone wrote that in an interview, that it's like comforting you. And people said like, oh, I had this when I got my kid, I was at BB, like it was so warm and comforting. And I also experienced that being at the hospital with my mom who was sick, that is like a warm, comfortable piece that you just wrap yourself around it. And customers says like they wear it every day. So yeah, that's pretty great reviews to get.
And if you would point out one single thing that created the product market fit that Astrid Wild has today, what is that thing?
That is also a great question. I think it's how we are so like design driven. So it's like design and fit that was sort of missing. And that's what, when we ask our customers, we're obsessed with asking them and sort of getting feedback, and they like why they buy is the design and how our products are sort of different in the market design wise.
And who is the key customer or the core customer? Who is like the biggest, clearest target group for you guys?
I mean, the biggest customer group, it's a woman living in a bigger city between 30 to 50. So like us.
Yeah.
Really? Go figure. But we have such a broad age range of customers. It's crazy. Now we see it very concretely now in our store when there are, daughters, mothers, grandmothers coming to shop with us.
And buying the same pants.
Buying the same things. So, which is really cool to see.
And what's been the impact from the store? Like, how has this affected the business?
It definitely generates revenue, but it is a smaller part still. I think the biggest benefit from that is the fact that we can see and listen to our customers, what they say about our products. It's like priceless product development and customer insight feedback when you listen to how they put pants on and what they say, the first thing they say, or how they fit and how they found us, or what challenges they've had before when they've tried to look for outdoor clothing. So I think that has been a very tangible thing that we have.
Can you bring us into that moment? So you're basically hanging out in the store, a customer comes in. Can you really ask them whatever? Tell me about the experience. And how do you do that without making it weird? Maybe it's not weird at all, but... I
don't know if we ask that much. People talk proactively, for sure.
I mean, it's like they pull on a pair of pants and they're like, oh, wow, I never find outdoor pants that fit. I've been going to the major chains before, but I haven't found any. So it's more like that. But I also think like one of the biggest things with the store, like it's been so much fun. I think for us, like personally, like having a nice store and a nice office, like it looks nice. It's so much like our brand and our like home. Like that is a big thing to us, like the team, that we can come there and really feel like, wow, this is our home. It really represents Astrid Wild. And it brings so much like joy, and we can also bring like partners there, influencers, press, media. So that's like one of the great things as well.
And you said joy. I kind of get a gut feeling that joy is really, really important for you in business.
Yeah. When you run like a lifestyle brand, it's like it really comes from our hearts, and it has to feel like true and authentic, and that we love what we do. I think it's so difficult otherwise, because it's so much about like creating content, and we're really personal in our content, and we are in the videos, etc. So I mean, we have to, of course, feel good and love what we do. Otherwise, the content would not fly, I think. And
who of you two has the most efficient ads when you talk into the camera?
Oh, which one is the model, or?
No. Who's winning when it comes to ROAS on their ads? So who's better of you in talking into the camera and like pitching Astrid Wild in the ads format?
It's hard to say.
I mean, I've done so many videos.
Much more. I think you are better at making videos probably than me. I'm not a content creator, but
there is now a video. It's been in the top board for a really long time. So I think it's more than me doing so many.
Yeah. I think it's my Moomin svenska, though, that is attracting.
You're pitching in Swedish then?
I'm pitching in Swedish in that.
All right, exciting. Do you have any videos you can show us? Any ads?
Yes.
Can you play it?
As
Do
a
you mind?
coincidence, I have one. So this is Jemina.
Kan vi prata om det här färgen lite snabbt? Det här är nog min favoritfärg vi har gjort hittills. Det här är vår minimalist Ullfleece i färgen mörkgrön. Vi släppte den nästan 1 år sedan och den sålde slut nästan direkt. Den är så mjuk och skön och har en djup grön färg med lite kallare ton än vår andra grön fleece. Och jag tycker att den passar mig lite bättre än den andra gröna fleecen. Jag vet inte vad du tycker. Hur som helst, nu finns alla storlekar att köpa igen. Så passa på innan den tar slut igen.
That feels super authentic.
Oh, it's so painful to listen to yourself.
No,
on
and
video.
I understand because I've been through the same freaking pain by doing a couple of podcasts, and I can't listen to myself anymore or stand my voice kind of in this format. But I have to say, this is an amazing ad. So this was one of the top performers, was it?
Yeah, exactly. It's been on the top list for several weeks. It was launched week 8 and now it's 18 or something. So yeah.
And what did you go through to challenge yourself to actually put yourself in front of the camera?
I was forced.
It's your turn now.
I have people who say I need to go in front of the camera.
We have an amazing content manager, Emma. She's been with us from almost the very beginning, and she's so good at like coaching us, and like she's the master of content and recording things, and she's a genius. So she gives a lot of advice on what to do and how. So.
Do you mind playing another one with you?
Yes, this one.
Mina Ullfleece idag versus 2019. Häng med på hur den har förändrats sedan den lanserades för 6 år sedan. Nu ska jag visa hur vi gjort vår Mina Ullfleece helt perfekt baserat på er feedback. Här så har jag på mig den allra första fleecen som vi lanserade. Det är den första batchen 2019. Jag har på mig en storlek large. Som ni ser så är den väldigt oversized och den var väldigt oversized då. Den hade också en lite så här tydligare A-formad shape på den. Och armarna var också lite större. Det första som ni verkligen efterfrågade som inte hade då, det var dragkedjor i fickor. Det saknades. Nu har jag då på mig 2026 års version av Mina Ullfleecen. Den är fortfarande lite oversized men inte lika mycket. Och vi har då som sagt satt in dragkedjor här så att dina nycklar och mobil och allt annat stannar där de ska. Vi har också lagt till flera färger. För när vi lanserade så hade vi bara grön, kamel och svart. Och det är därför att det här tyget som ni ser längs dragkedjan, det är alltså samma tyg som vi använder på våra byxor. Så därför var vi liksom smarta med tygkonsumtionen och återanvände det tyget till fleecarna. Men sen när vi då utvecklade Mina Minimalist som inte har det här så kallade trimtyget, då kunde vi lägga till massa fler färger. Så nu har vi hela 9 färger. Vi har också lagt till flera storlekar så att vi går från extra small till 4XL nu. Men annars så är det ju i stort sett alltså samma fleece. Det är samma gosiga höga krage. Det är det här mjuka och jättevarma ullmixen som är faktiskt en återvunnen ullmix från Italien som vi använder. Där är också de här gosiga tumhålen så att det funkar lite som vantar när man utgår. Och det har varit så himla, alltså verkligen otroligt att se hur den här Mina Ullfleecen har blivit liksom verkligen en sån här garderobsklassiker och bärs och älskas av tusentals kvinnor över hela världen. Så om du inte ännu har en Mina Ullfleece, då tycker jag verkligen det är på tiden att du införskaffar en sån, för den är verkligen otroligt mysig och så användbar.
Amazing, I love it. How long did it take to figure out the ads format? What was the journey of first doing it wrong and then getting it right?
I'm not sure if we're there yet. I was going to say it's a constant work in progress.
But I think what we've done from the beginning is these very personal or ads where we talk about our products, our journey, our entrepreneurial journey. So we've always had a very personal approach and we put ourselves in front of the camera.
When we first did that so-called founder ad, I mean, we were of course inspired by Fedja. Like it felt like he introduced that concept to the Swedish e-commerce, and maybe that was in 2021, I think. So yeah, maybe before that we did a little bit more like traditional ads. So yeah, but now we've done that type of concept for, what is it, five years? Yeah.
And how many products do you have in your total product assortment?
If you don't think about colors, we have about 20 products, and then those come in different colors, of course.
And what was the journey designing these? Because designing these kinds of technical products is very complex.
In the very beginning, I mean, we've never worked with fashion or retail or anything before. So, and we really wanted to do like quality gear. So we understood like, okay, we need help. Like we cannot do this on our own. We also didn't want to just send something to an factory and say like, copy this. It was important for us to like develop our own stuff. We teamed up with like some really great people who had worked with both outdoor but also clothing for like many, many years. So very senior people. One who's been like the head of design at Fjällräven and Tretorn, etc. And then also a really experienced pattern maker who we still work with. She's been working with sports and outdoor patterns for like 40 years or something. So we built like a great team and learned from them.
And how did you manage to onboard them? Because in the beginning you didn't really have resources, right? Because you're also 100% self-funded. How did you manage to get access to them?
From Antler, we got a little bit of money. It was like a small investment, and that we could use to finance the product development and the first fabric, the first batch. But like the onboarding, I mean, of course, it's like selling your idea and selling your vision. And they saw that, they agreed to like, okay, there is a gap, and they really liked what we saw. And they really liked, especially so Peter, who had worked as a head of design for Fjällräven, etc. He really liked that we wanted to do something different than what he'd seen before.
And there was a news story quite recently about that you guys signed the Swedish Armed Forces in a contract to produce underwear for their female forces. Tell me about that a little bit.
Yes, it's really exciting. So we have started a research and development project with the Swedish Armed Forces to both develop new underwear for their female employees and to also adapt their new uniform system to pregnant women. So it's like a two-sided project. It's going to run over 3 years. We're super excited and proud and honored to be sort of taken on to do this.
How do you manage getting such a contract?
Oh, yeah. The issue around female employees in the Swedish Armed Forces not having great equipment and in clothing or in uniforms, that has been known for some time, and it's been written about a lot in media. And we also read those articles many times and, started to think like, can we help? So we just basically knocked on the door and asked.
Cold calling.
Yeah, it was very much.
How did you know who to call?
We read about this woman. She did a PhD on gender equality within the Swedish Armed Forces. So my first cold message on LinkedIn was to her. We had a fika, and so she sort of directed me to the people who actually works with like equipment and gear within the Swedish Armed Forces, because that's a huge organization. And I got their email address, and the response was so positive. I did not expect that at all. I thought maybe this email will, no one will ever reply, but they responded and they were super positive. Then it took some time. So that email was probably sent 2 years ago. It took some time to get where we are today, and also figure out, of course, how to work together. This is a new thing for them. This is not a normal project for them, so to say.
How are you going to work together with the Swedish Armed Forces? Försvarsmakten.
But they took us on because they and said like, we want you to work like you usually do. So not like how we usually do. So that's really important for them. They want us to use our process and method for product development, which is very sort of centered around the users and getting feedback from them. So basically having the same type of feedback loop and engaging their users in the same way like we do.
And what does that feedback loop look like?
When we develop something, like it always starts with like what our customers and what our community wants. Like what are they asking about? Like what type of product? How should it look like? What features should it have? What material? What colors? Like all of that we sort of run through our community and customers. So it's feedback loop on social media. It's like showing sketches. It's showing prototypes and them sort of giving feedback on that, and also surveys, and so just gathering a lot of data.
But it's interesting. I mean, this is a very much entrepreneurial trait, because there is millions of people who could have done that and reach out to them and, give them like a week you should do this? Or, I mean, you basically created this opportunity 100% by yourself by doing that, which is absolutely amazing. What does it mean for the company? Are they going to put in orders, or are they financing product development? What's the impact towards the business Astrid Wild?
So now it's a development project. Of course, we get compensation for the work, sampling, developing prototypes, and so on. Then when the product is ready and when there will be a mass production, then of course it needs to go into a proper tender upphandling. So time will tell. But we're so happy to get to be part of this, and I'm very impressed by Försvarsmakten, that they think outside the box like this and actually think about their women employees.
There will be synergies, as the whole time we have also, there's been a lot of demand for underwear from our community as well. So we've said like, okay, we can do this as a co-creation project, meaning that we will also develop underwear and we will learn from each other. So there will be sort of great synergies that we can source input from our community. Underwear will be tested by the female soldiers when they're sort of out in the field. And this will also have sort of great spillover effects on our collection as well.
Yeah, I can imagine. Again, also very much authentic, right? It feels like the process is super authentic towards Försvarsmakten and towards your customers and towards you guys.
Yeah, we got such a good response. Like, so we went out, we were like, should we communicate this to our community, or is this like interesting to them? We weren't really sure, but then we did an Instagram post about it, and like, oh my God, we got like thousands of likes and hundreds of comments, and people were like, wow, this is the best thing I ever heard, and you guys, you so deserve it. So I was surprised and like really like overwhelmed by how well it was received by the community. It was fantastic. Yeah.
Amazing. What do you think it will mean for you guys to have a foot into Försvarsmakten? Because that door is not very open to most companies.
That's a good question. I think maybe time will tell. It was so interesting. Yesterday I got an email. I don't know if you saw that even, but it was an email from, how to say this in English, like the Räddningstjänsten. There's someone who works for another type of organization who wears uniforms, and he was like, we also need this. I was like, oh, interesting. So I'm sure there are like other organizations who have, working uniforms or uniforms where the fit might not be the best for women. So yeah, of course, we're open to work with other organizations as well. It's in our interest to provide better fit and better clothing for women.
Yeah, that's super cool. And exactly how will you pull information from the customers or feedback from the customers about, functionality and everything? Are you doing surveys, or what's the process to get insights in how to further develop the product?
Mainly surveys, and also like social media is great. There's a lot of, you can use poll functions to like vote, and also just gathering comments. And I mean, now with AI, it's also so much easier to like synthesize a lot of data and sort of make sense from it. So, but I did test a really cool tool the other week. It's like an AI tool that sort of talks with someone, and then they just analyze that data for you. So you can do that with hundreds of people. So I'm excited about new tools. It looked really, really cool. Yeah, it's like brand new, made here in Stockholm. Yeah.
Now, are you using AI internally, or how do you use and apply AI?
I mean, we use it a lot in sort of idea generation, content creation to a certain extent, translations, analysis.
You use it a lot in your accounting, right? And financing things. You've told me you built some models and things.
There are some solutions sort of to make some processes better. We have a size recommender on our website that was AI built with Lovable, and mostly to make processes more efficient, create more content more efficiently.
Because you use it for the website and you use it for content. Do you also use it outside that, for example, product development or design or similar?
Not yet, no. I think also like we don't like launch that many new designs per year. It's like maybe one new product or so, as we have a permanent collection. So it's it hasn't really been like a need yet. We don't spit out like 20 new products per season. So.
And Jemina, I think you're the numbers person in the company. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yes. So let's walk through some numbers as well. Of course, GM1, GM2, GM3, and maybe also explain what that is. And then I'm quite curious to hear about how do you ensure profitability? Since you don't have financing, you really have to steer this company, this ship, towards always ensuring being profitable, which isn't that easy, especially considering buying and cash flow needs and cash flow lows, etc. Let's start with the margin structure from the top down.
So gross margin, profitability after all the product costs are deducted, that is about 65%. GM2 after what I call direct sales costs, so logistics and payment costs, that is about 50%. And then contribution margin 3, which is then after marketing costs, that is a little over 20%.
Cool. So you spend about 27% or so on marketing. And you have a quite healthy GM3 then. And how do you ensure that you're profitable? I mean, it's quite easy to plan variable costs according to this, as long as you steer the marketing cost towards a certain percentage. But then there's fixed costs and also the complexity of liquidity. How do you ensure you guys are profitable every year?
I mean, we see same hiking customer acquisition costs as everyone else. What we do have is also quite high customer lifetime value. We have high basket size, but we also have a very healthy retention. So we can afford to pay for our customers. I think we have a very healthy sort of economics. Then it's a question about volume. And that's what sort of 2025 was a lot about, just increasing volume. And that sort of was the profitability driver there.
Nu tar vi en kort paus. Björn, vi har precis släppt bomben om XP Awards. Berns kommer verkligen att koka i oktober.
Alltså Mischa, verkligen. Och det som är så jäkla kul är att vi kommer tjuvstarta den 15 oktober redan klockan 13.00 på Berns. Vi kommer vara nere i nattklubben, det som kallas för studion. Och där kommer våra partners tillsammans med några få inbjudna VIPs att få lyssna på intervjuer på de som är nominerade till de här awardsen som vi kommer att dela ut. Och det kommer att bli extremt krispiga dialoger, kommer bli otroligt bra stämning och sen så kommer alla middagsgäster komma dit lite senare och då går vi upp ett plan till det som kallas the ballroom, alltså det här kristallrummet. Och där kör vi en 3-rätters sittande middag och efter det har vi en fet fest.
Och juryn är ju helt otrolig. Vi har samlat tidigare gäster från podden och branschprofiler för att kora vinnarna av The Bear, vårt egna svar på en Oscar.
Exakt, och efter prisutdelningen och efter den här 3-rättersmiddagen i The Ballroom som är liksom kristallrummet på Berns så plockas borden bort och så går vi ner en trappa och så har vi tillgång till hela nattklubben på Berns. Alltså vi har bokat hela Berns till och med 02.00. Det kommer bli en riktigt fet fest och typ alla kommer att vara där. Och vill man vara med och till exempel presentera priserna på scen, vill man till exempel synas och höras i livepoddarna så kan man det också. Man kan köpa partnerskap och då kan man gå in på xpawards.se för att läsa mer.
Ja, precis. Det finns allt från supporting till main partnerpaket för de som vill äga kvällen tillsammans med oss.
Exakt, gå in på xpawards.se, alltså xpawards.se. Där hittar ni biljetter till både middagen, biljetter till efterfesten, men också lite info om hur man blir partner. Vi ses på XP Awards, det kommer bli sjukt kul.
Det gör vi och nu fortsätter avsnittet.
And what exactly did volume drive in the P&L? Was it lower buying cost? Percentage-wise, or was it lower logistic cost? Or
from a margin perspective, it was pretty much the same, and maybe a little bit better gross margin. That came a lot from just actually currency effect. Just having more sort of, you apply those margins to a larger net revenue, you have a lot more money to cover your fixed costs. We increased our employee base with 1 person last year, so we did sort of expand the fixed cost base a little bit, but there was still money left over. So, and I do think that we have, with this team structure, we still have scalability potential this year, and then let's see.
Especially with AI, usually, you know, you can achieve a lot of growth, but you not necessarily need to hire as many people due to productivity gains. But I'm wondering, when do you decide to hire a new person? Because that's quite hard. I mean, you have 20 million in revenues now, and I understand that, you know, as long as you grow, you will have more GM3 euros or SEK to cover the fixed costs. But there is a point in time where you have to decide on, now we actually have the guts to hire a new person. How do you know that you actually can be sure that you can afford such a person now, since you're so profitability driven?
Our first approach is that we can see that we have money to pay for that salary. Sort of, we don't do bets before we know we can afford it. And then it's really a question of which crucial sales-driven role can that person take, and how much time it saves from the rest of the team, that we can sort of focus on building the other and increasing efforts in other sales-driven efforts. We are quite careful and conservative. Sometimes you would think, like, could we grow faster with this sort of unit economic structure? But we are quite careful to not do hasty decisions and grow the team too much before we're secure in that.
And maybe Fredrik can do the math. You're making 20 million SEK now. Let's say you grow by 25% each year. Let's say you do that for 20 years straight. What's the revenues then, Fredrik?
So the number is 1,734,723,000 SEK.
I love that. That sounds great.
Yeah.
It's massive.
Yeah.
You just continue to do this for another 20 years. And then you're like Stefan Palm sized.
I really, personally, I love that sort of thinking, the sort of compounding effect, because I think everyone has been focused on getting rich super fast. Or that's been the sort of sentiment, or maybe a few years back, it was so focused on that. And what I've learned is that there are no shortcuts. You just have to do really good things, and it's going to take time, and just focus on doing great things and quality things.
We're building a brand for the long term.
Yeah.
We don't want to achieve quick wins on the expense of the brand. Let's say it that way.
And that's the thing, right? So if you have a 20-year perspective, the exponential growth over time is just so insane.
Yeah.
It feels like no matter what you do, you will be absolutely freaking massive. Even if whether you grow 30 or 20%, it doesn't really matter, because you will be massive anyway. It's actually a very much underrated strategy. And I think most people don't have that perspective. People are just in a freaking rush. Who is Astrid Wild?
She's a dear imaginary friend of ours. She's a made up name. Well, you can tell the story of our...
Yeah, no, we never really thought of it as it would be a character or anyone. We just wanted to have a great name of the company. So we were sitting with different name combinations, and Vera North, Livia Woods, Lily Spring, Astrid Wild, and then there was a fifth one. And then we had friends and family and people on Facebook voting for the best name, and Astrid Wild won, and we're really happy with the name,
happy.
Which is good, because it's one of the things that it's a little bit complicated to change.
Have you trademarked the name as well?
We have, yeah.
Was it hard? Getting the domains, getting the trademark, getting the everything, the rights to sell. Maybe it was 100% available. Maybe you have the .com address.
It was available then, and we've done trademarks in a few in the EU, the US, and Norway, and so on, and bought quite a few domains in different countries as well. So,
how about other markets than Sweden? How much do you sell in Sweden versus other markets outside Sweden? And what is your plans when it comes to international growth?
So we are now, or last year, 45% of our net revenue came from outside Sweden. It grew quite a lot from the previous year. Sort of geographic expansion was a really big part of 2025. And that is just what we want to continue. We believe there is global demand, and we've started this brand from day one to be a global thing. Sweden will always be our dear home, but we have ambitions beyond that for sure.
What's your fastest growing market right now?
Finland and Norway are actually growing really fast right now. German comes close, and the US has also been, it's a smaller scale still now, but it's one of those markets where we haven't done that much. It's been very organic or influencer led. We had a great collaborator there, or who has a following in the US. Just looking at the percentages, the US grew the most, but it's smaller scale, so it's
And usually a brand such as Astrid Wild usually would probably offer its products globally from day one through an English website. You guys focus very much on the Swedish market to start with and are, let's say, cherry picking markets outside Sweden now to start focusing on those as well. Why did you pick that strategy, and why didn't you just do English ads and see whoever buys from the world, you know?
I mean, to a certain extent, we did, or our website was first in English. Everything's been first in English in our company. But yeah, we focused a lot on Sweden in marketing because it was easier that way. We had a lot of network and so on. But at the same time, we have been building base in other countries as well. Why we're now expanding in Finland and Norway, or focusing on Finland and Norway and Germany, is that we saw a lot of potential. Sort of the organic base was there to start building on. It's, I think, really hard to focus on everything. I mean, it's easy to put out ads, but it's not just, at least in our case, this is not an ads-driven company. It's a community brand-driven, and you have to do a lot of actions that are not so scalable by pressing a button like ads.
Let's talk a little bit about this. So you're obviously dependent on ads to acquire customers, but then when the customer actually bought something, you ensure they stick around. You ensure they anticipate a lot of value through community, through authenticity. How exactly do you do that? Like, what is the things that you do for the community? Can you give us a few examples?
I think our product development approach is really big thing. How we engage. I think that's a big retention driver, for instance.
Yeah, absolutely. Our customers feel like included in the journey and what we do. We have always spent like a lot of time and resources into content through Instagram and sort of building the community there to like entertain, to educate, and creates like a feeling of like an Astrid Wild community through Instagram. So over the years, we also worked a lot with influencer marketing and also sort of profiles coming to us wanting to represent the brand. So that is, but then we are also like actively hosting events. As I told you about, we have this like yearly event for female entrepreneurs that we do together with 2 other companies. So it's a mix of everything we love. It's entrepreneurship, it's skiing. So we're up in Åre in January. It's like yoga and wellness, and that is like one of the best few days of the year. So we gather a group of 20 women and we talk about like how to start your company, how to run your company, and ski at the same time. So that's amazing. So it's like one of the things that we do with our community.
Really cool. So you basically hang out with customers.
Yeah, it's so cool to like they come there like wearing their Astrid Wild clothing, and yeah. It's amazing.
How does that feel? Seeing others wearing your clothes?
I'm still surprised, or like a little bit in shock when I see people out on the street. Like the other day, I saw someone walking to the gym wearing a Jemina fleece, and we were in the same class, and I was like, like, but I was like, I can't tell her because that would be weird. Like, yeah, but it's.
My boyfriend is always like, go and say something, go and say hi, and tell you're the founder. Oh, I don't know. Is that invasion of privacy?
Yeah, I mean, it's the best thing, like hearing customers talking about how much they love their products and so on. Yeah.
And if you're so passionate about the brand and the products and the community, usually have, especially if you work with a marketing agency or similar, a discussion that always comes up: discount codes. The sign-up discount code of 10% when signing up to an email, or, I don't know, Black Week activations, or overstock, getting rid of overstock activations and similar. How do you think about discount codes? Do you love them?
We do have a sign-up discount code. You could sort of say that we have discount codes based on an action that a customer does. So if you leave a review, if you're a very loyal customer, you've shopped with us a lot. But discount campaigns, as in normal sales campaigns, we don't do. We don't have Black Friday offers and such, summer offers or summer sale discounts or so. And that is something that, you go when times are tougher, you are always like, oh, discounts. But no, We don't do discounts. We're consistent with that. What we do is we have this archive. Since we do changes to our products, then if a style is changed so much that the previous one becomes outdated and we have a few in stock, then we put them in archive.
So it's not, if the product is not coming back, then you can put it into archive.
Exactly.
Because there will be an updated version of the same product, or maybe it was just a failure when it comes to product design.
I mean, it's also like we try to create a value for the customer that's not just a discount. So it's like, it could be like a free gift instead during Black Week, or another period where we know sales is going to be slower. So it's not like we're against giving something to our customers, because we want them to buy, but just not with sort of sacrificing profitability. We try to like provide other things that will sort of push the trigger or make them convert.
That's interesting. So instead of, you're basically flipping the script, instead of lowering the price of the product, you maybe add a value to the product. Yeah. Which could be, getting an extra X or having some kind of a feature or add-on to the purchase. Yeah. Cool. Of 100% of all designed products, how many percent have been big successes and big failures?
Yeah, that's a good question. We have a permanent collection. And then there are some products that are sort of resting right now, meaning we haven't stocked up. I still love them, so I wouldn't call them failures. And the customers love them, but it just hasn't been like enough demand to, restock right now. Then there's been like one color and one product that we're like, okay, we will probably not do this again.
Big mistake.
But you should never say never. But it's like, a linen shirt is like, okay, this doesn't really solve a problem. I mean, we're very, solving problems sort of for our customers. There are so many linen shirts out there. We can't really differentiate when it comes to fit or material or design. So yeah, I mean, they can buy that from someone else, and we can focus on making like pants fit really well instead.
And I think that's a really strong thing for your business, meaning that there is such a strong functionality aspect to the product. And adding, zippers or a number of pockets, or obviously fit is super, super important, but just, the stretch materials maybe, etc. That functionality to the product enables a way more easy to explain product for online sales, it feels like. So you're very functionality driven when it comes to product development.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's outerwear made for like rough conditions out there. So we also need to explain the material and all of that. Yeah.
And when looking back, what is the main learnings from this journey?
You have to have patience.
It takes time to do good things.
Good one. And what would you recommend to the listeners and viewers of the podcast?
I was thinking about that, like if I would start a clothing brand or just any consumer product today, but like keep your portfolio tight. Like it's so fun in the beginning to develop new things and design things. I mean, we produce a lot more new products in the beginning as of what we do now, but it's so like try to do fewer things, but like really, really good products that solves a problem, and then focus on like learn how to sell them, because that itself is a process. I mean, like these pants, it took a while before they started selling. We were like, oh, maybe they're not that well, but it was more like we had not learned how to sell it. So I think that is the thing, like do less sort of products and then focus on learning how to sell.
And if you are solving a problem, it is much easier to sell it because you have that, you can have some fad, some viral moment that can disappear. But if you're actually solving a problem, you can always fall back to that. And that is your marketing at the end of the day.
And when it comes to these pants, what did you first do that didn't work? And then what did you change to make the marketing work for these pants? Like what was the difference between failing and winning when it comes to efficient ads for these pants?
Yeah, I think for pants ads, it's a lot about like showing the stretch, showing the pockets, like video material. That has been the big sort of difference when it comes to pants.
Showing the functionality clearly in the video.
Yeah, and the fit. Yeah.
Super inspiring to talk to you guys, and I'm really pumped to continue to follow your journey. If there is investors out there that think that, hey, I love this stuff, I want to invest, would you take it?
I think we're actually going into a phase where, it was important to us to know what we're doing, create a marketing machinery, and actually sort of have a stable business. But yeah, I mean, in the future, I think that becomes more and more relevant for our growth.
I mean, we're definitely interested in taking the phone call or the discussions. Absolutely.
Exciting. Really cool. And I think as you grow in size, risk increases because, sometimes after Black Week, for example, you probably have insane cash flow and you feel mega rich as a company. And then some periods, it's basically empty and you're in the minus and you're dependent on credits and stuff. But as you grow your size from 20 million to 50 to 100, the liquidity lows become way, way bigger. And that's just freaking scary. If you have a low of a few hundred K, it's manageable. But if you have a low of a couple of millions or tens of millions, it's freaking scary. It can kill the company, right? Just for that reason, I think it can be smart to onboard someone down the road to lower the risk.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff. If anyone wants to get in touch with you guys, how can they do that?
LinkedIn is always good.
LinkedIn and email, maria@astridwild.com. I guess you will add it to the show notes.
Awesome. Thank you again for being on the podcast. Om ni vill komma i kontakt med Jemina eller Maria, gå in i show notes så kommer vi länka allting. Där vill ni komma i kontakt med mig så är det lättast på länken. Också sök på Björn Polma så finns jag där. Glöm inte att följ podden i podcaster, i Spotify och såklart också på YouTube. In på YouTube och prenumerera på Framtidens E-Handel. Jag vill också tacka vår fantastiska sponsor som är såklart Shopify. Shopify är ju världens största plattform för e-handlare. Gå in på shopify.com/framtiden för att läsa mer. Jag vill också tacka våra fantastiska poddproducenter Fredde Ankarsköld som producerar podden med oss här i studion, Mikael Ador som klipper podden och Reels. Stort tack för att du har lyssnat. Vi hörs igen nästa fredag klockan 07.00. Hej!
Hej!